Hey guys, today's video is a mini tea of things happening on the internet that I've missed because of James Charles and David Dobrik. So in between there's always been like little things happening that I've just been compiling into a video, and here we are having that video. So subscribe, hit that bell, like and comment for engagement, and if you don't, you will leave the house and then you'll realise that your phone's on like 5% and you know it's gonna die. That's my threat for today. Also, my social media will be in description along with my beauty channel, so go subscribe if you want some beauty content. Also, today's video is very kindly sponsored by Adam and Eve, who have been a great help to this channel. I love working with them every single time, and you guys love them too because they keep on renewing me. If you want 50% off one item with free shipping to the US and Canada, some exclusions apply, then you can use code Angelika at checkout at adamandeve.com. So with Adam and Eve, 20% of all profits go to fighting HIV around the world. They have 24/7 customer service, discreet packaging. They've been in business for 50 years. They have 90-day no hassle returns. If you don't like it, you can send it back, but you will like it. So like I said, if you guys want 50% off one item with free shipping to the US or Canada, some exclusions apply. You can use code Angelika at checkout at adamandeve.com. Let's get into the tea. Let's start with David Dobrik, even though I just said that I couldn't talk about mini teas because of David Dobrik, but it's a part of a mini tea. So there was a statement by Natalie. Natalie is his kind of like personal assistant. There was a statement that she made when all of this first went down, which said, "I've spent a lot of time thinking about the recent allegations, and because of the severity, it's taken me time to process. Like many of you, I'm upset and angry and do not condone the behavior detailed in the article or any misconduct for that matter. I want to make it clear that I acknowledge, hear and support those who came forward, and I stand by the victims." So she said that, and a lot of people are angry, saying it's kind of dismissive, that she's still working for him, so she's still supporting him, and that she's been working with him since 2017, and that video came out in 2017. She edits his videos now, but apparently back then she wasn't editing his videos, so she wasn't aware of the video, maybe necessarily, like she kind of knew they were doing something, but probably not too aware. But people are kind of demanding that she quits, that she, you know, stops working with him. Trisha Paytas actually in a Frenemies podcast said that Natalie approves everything now. So like the video will get past her, she'll approve it or edit it. But people are saying that back then maybe she didn't have as much kind of like to say, like she didn't have the final word on things, so because she was just starting out with David, it's kind of tricky to say if she was aware of the video back then or not. So she's now released a new statement saying, "The last few weeks have been nothing short of challenging, especially for the women who have come forward, and while I was not there, I stand by my statement that I believe Hannah and the other woman on what happened that night. As a woman's sister, daughter, as well as someone who knows that many women look up to me, I know I have a platform that can draw awareness to important causes and organizations that can protect and provide resources around the violence. I will do that as well as continue to support important causes close to my heart. To start, I'll be donating to the National Violence Research Center and using my platform to share helpful information. I will continue to stick up for what I think is right and use my own platform for good. This is just the start of a long and important journey for me, and I appreciate those who stick by me this time." So she took out the CEO of David Dobrik out of her Instagram bio. I'm assuming that used to be like kind of like a funny inside joke, and now it was bringing too much negative attention to her Instagram, and I'm assuming if she wants brand deals in the future for her Instagram, she kind of has to take that out of the bio and not draw attention to the fact that she's still associated with David, considering he lost all of his sponsors. So she took that out, but on LinkedIn she's still working for David Dobrik. Like it says, she's still there. Since then, SNL has actually done a sketch, like a full like 3-minute long sketch about David Dobrik, and like it's quite clearly about David Dobrik, like crappy vlogs with bad ideas and then apology videos. Josh Peck has also deleted all of his pictures with David Dobrik, and many people say that after, you know, he played on Nickelodeon, being with David Dobrik was one of his first breaks since then. Like he was able to break out of like the Nickelodeon shell and start doing other things in Hollywood again. So now he's basically just completely distanced himself from David, and I wonder if he's ever going to come back to the vlogs, if David comes back to the vlogs. Next story is Pham. So Hailey and Ryan have had a series where they're getting married. So he proposed to her, and then they did venue shopping, dress shopping, all sorts of planning videos that they've done, and they were supposed to document their wedding process from beginning to end, aka marriage, like actual wedding ceremony. It was Spill Sesh initially that had broken the story that they probably got married. She found through Instagram pictures, all of their friends being together in one spot, them all being in the venue, and comparing the background to the venue. We all figured out that they got married and they had a wedding with all of their guests, and no one was wearing masks. Many people are saying, oh well, they're allowed to get married, they don't have to tell us, but they made a whole big deal out of the planning of the wedding. So then it's really weird that they wouldn't show us the actual ceremony, but it's because they know that they'd get in trouble because no one's wearing masks and they're having a big event. So they've been like getting called out for that for a while, and they posted a video holding themselves accountable. Basically, they said that they were just really excited to get married and they really wanted the wedding, so they went along with it, and that they're really sorry that they disappointed everyone, but they kind of just really wanted to get married, and that's the video. They really do kind of like sound sincere. They're like, yeah, we messed up, but you know, it happened, we can't really take it back. I understand being excited to get married, but if they really wanted to get married, they could have just done the signing of the papers, marriage thing, and then just had a wedding later on. A lot of people have been doing that. A lot of people have been just signing the civil papers and then just having an actual ceremony after the pandemic. They didn't have to have the wedding, and it's really weird because they could have just waited. But also, were they expecting to not have to tell people? Like, were they expecting people to not find out? Because at some point they would have to say like, hey guys, we're married. Like, were they going to pretend that they had the ceremony after the pandemic? Because that's something they were going to have to say, like, hey guys, we did end up getting married. So why were they just like postponing it for that long? I don't know. Did they think no one was going to figure it out? Other than figuring out from the Instagram pictures, Instagram stories, people also found kind of like the register for, you know, when you like get married and stuff like that. So it was very obvious that they did get married, and I don't know how they thought that they could keep it a secret for that long, because it's like, it's the internet. And you're famous, like of course people are going to find out. I don't know, I'm glad that they took accountability, and I'm glad that they're sorry. People have made a lot of mistakes, like YouTubers and regular people, but the things you don't hear about the regular people, you hear about the YouTubers because they obviously have a public platform, which is why they should be giving a good example. But you've just been hearing about a lot of people messing up during the pandemic and just being really selfish, and I think this was just a really selfish move to make when they could have just had the ceremony later like everyone else. What's done is done. We can only move forward, so let's move forward. Ace family, they had the Ace Club before, which was like a subscription service app that you had like extra content on there, and Austin actually admitted that that was essentially a scam because the app just couldn't manage the amount of volume that was coming through from the people purchasing the subscription, so it was just bugging and glitching, and it wasn't a great thing. So since then, he decided to just make a new app called How I Became a Millionaire, and it's supposed to be a how to do YouTube and how to do social media. And apparently, if you paid the upper level, which was $50 a month, you could even get verified on Instagram. Now, I don't know how many strings he can pull to get that many people verified. Like realistically, if everyone that pays for the service wanted to get verified, is he going to offer that to every single person? And he literally can't do that. Like he can't just get that many people verified because he's not the owner of Instagram. But also, the course How I Became a Millionaire has an Instagram page, and that's not verified. So how can he not get his own page verified and then offer to get other people verified? So they're doing that. And apparently since people have subscribed, the volume of videos has gone down. They were like offering a certain amount of videos per week, and that has not been fulfilled. And when people contact customer service, they basically hear the same responses like, you know, life, he's busy, he posted a video last week, you don't need another one. And apparently he's focusing on the fight, and that's probably why he's not posting a lot of content, because he's like very desperate to beat Bryce Hall, which is really strange because he's like a lot older than him and literally has a family, and Bryce is like pretty much a child. He behaves like one, and he's barely 21, I think. So it's just really strange that that's what he's focusing his energy on. But like, if you offer someone a service for money, you can't be focusing on other things and use that as an excuse, because you offered this person something for money and you made that promise, so you have to fulfill it regardless of what else is happening in your life, or just refund the money and shut down the app. But it's just like, it's yet another thing that the Ace family has done that is a scam. Like they did the charity basketball thing where they were supposed to donate 100,000 and they only donated 75,000, and people calculated they probably made around 300,000 to 400,000 from that event alone, and they've done that event twice now. They did that Jeep giveaway where they were making you buy merch and then you had a chance to get a Jeep. Oh, they scammed a guy out of a bandana business. So he had a bandana business. Austin said to him that they were going to join businesses, join forces, and then he essentially just stole the idea from the guy and never gave him any money or credit. So it's just a lot of shady stuff that comes from the Ace family, and it's just sad to see that they basically just like steal other people's ideas, promise to do things and not go through with them. Like with the charity thing, they said they were going to give 100,000 and they just didn't. This app, they said they were going to do X amount of videos and they just don't. They said they're going to get people verified. I don't think they will. So it's just a lot of promises that they don't go through with, but because they have a young fan base, they tend to just get away with things like this. So it's sad to see these kids getting scammed, essentially. And then we have Nikita Dragun versus Trisha Paytas. Now, Spill Sesh and T-Spill have both shown a bunch of those tweets. If you guys want to actually go through the tweets, you can, but I'm going to give you a condensed short version where I don't actually read the tweets. I just give you a summary of what happened. So Nikita Dragun has a show with Snapchat and MTV. So it's basically a show with MTV on Snapchat, and apparently it got renewed for season 2. Since then, Trisha Paytas has shaded her, basically was like, it's on Snapchat, like what's the big deal? It's not a big deal. So then they go back and forth, and Trisha Paytas calls her out for the COVID parties, for not wearing a mask, for being friends with Tony Lopez, Andreas Lopez, and James Charles, blackfishing as well. Nikita Dragun calls out Trisha Paytas for her past behaviour, which is also very problematic, like weird jokes, mocking, you know, different mental illnesses, old jokes that she made with Shane Dawson or inappropriate jokes she made on Twitter regarding underage people, so that's also concerning. And then she also called her out for obviously being friends with Shane, Ryland, Jeffrey and David. So those are also problematic people, so I guess, you know, she's throwing the same stuff back at Trisha. Trisha then claps back and she mentions Moses, and then Nikita mentions how Trisha allegedly hit Moses, and there's a picture of bruises on his arm. Then Ethan gets involved, and then he makes like a public statement about Trans Awareness Day. And then Keemstar gets involved and brings in past tweets from Trisha Paytas that are very problematic about underage people. I've mentioned those tweets before, really inappropriate stuff. And then Keemstar also brings up an old video with Shane Dawson and Trevi Moran, where Trevi is, I believe, 16 at the time, and it's inappropriate. It's really inappropriate. So there was a tweet that said Trevi Moran was a victim to Shane and Trisha. Trisha had a video of Trevi grinding on her and her fully allowing it on her channel up until last year when Shane asked her to take it down before it was brought to light in his cancellation. He also said Trevi in it. So Shane also says Trevi in it. And there was a tweet of Trisha Paytas actually saying Trevi, and then Trevi basically responded to that and said no comment. Before this situation, Trevi has actually spoken out about this on Twitter as well, basically just like slightly showing that they are uncomfortable with this. So it's just like, you know, both in the wrong, Nikita and Trisha, both in the wrong, both for different reasons, but sometimes the same reasons. Trisha Paytas then calls Nikita irrelevant and says that this is the only way that she gets relevant. She mentions her show, her meet and greet, and her makeup line, how all of those are failing. And Nikita then calls out Frenemies and calls that irrelevant, but we all know that Frenemies is a huge podcast. It's doing incredibly well. Since then, Def Noodles has reported on the Trisha Nikita drama, but Keemstar thought he was being biased, so Keemstar's now calling out Def Noodles, and he's calling out the journalist behind Insider, Kat. She's covered the David situation, the James situation. So he's calling out Def Noodles, he's calling out Kat, Trisha, and Ethan. So that's looking really messy. It's really messy over there. Then we also have Nikita Dragun. She basically tweeted out that anyone who is tweeting about Nikita Unfiltered is going to get a follow. She says that she followed these people, like, I love you, followed you, followed, tweet Nikita Unfiltered for a follow, go. And someone said, been binge watching Nikita Unfiltered all day. And then someone responds to that and says, did she actually follow you? Because it ain't showing. And they replied, no, she didn't, which is just really strange that you would promise these like follows and not go through them. So that's that for Nikita, Trisha, Ethan, Keemstar, Trevi, and everyone else. So let's just move on. James. It seems that Emma Chamberlain has archived or deleted a bunch of posts with James. So people are saying that those pictures are gone, and on her social blade it actually says -90. So she's deleted 90 posts. We're wondering, you know, is that to do with James? Are all those pictures James? It's like if you haven't seen her account before, it's hard to tell what she actually deleted, but people are speculating if it's pictures of her and James to not get into hot water. There's also a video of Tati coming back when she was calling out James, where she said that James is developing a brand with Morphe, a makeup brand, and now he's obviously coming out with his makeup brand, and Morphe is not cancelling him. Like, Morphe dropped Laura Lee for tweets. Morphe dropped Jeffree Star for his crimes committed. They dropped Shane Dawson for inappropriate jokes in the past, and now they're not dropping James Charles, which is really not on brand for them. But it just seems like the brand that he's developing, the makeup brand, is with Morphe. That's what it seems like. And it would probably be the same thing as Jack and Hill Cosmetics. So Jack and Hill Cosmetics is under a parent company that is actually Morphe, but that parent company owns Morphe, if that makes sense. It's like Morphe and the owners of Morphe have this parent company that owns Morphe, Jack and Hill, a bunch of different brands, and they would probably own James Charles's cosmetics line as well. Then we have Jeffree Star, whose Spotify and Apple Music was hacked. Then we have Addison Rae. So apparently it's come out now that she calls paparazzi on herself, which is not shocking at all considering she hangs out with the Kardashians, and that's what the TikTok stars seem to be doing. But also, she was recently attending a party and she left the party with like her head covered with a jacket, but like we can all tell that it's her. So it's like, why are people still attending parties? I don't know. Parties, as if we're just celebrating like parties during COVID. That is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe to post videos every time something happens. So that bell be notified when that's happening. Social media links, any other links in the description, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.